Welcome to the Blueprint Podcast Q&A. This is where I answer all your questions that you email me into my Stan store. So feel free to check that out. The link is in my bio where you can leave a question. Question that people often find themselves asking is, when am I ready to start dating again? And the answer is when you hit that contemplation phase and you start thinking about what it would feel like. You're envisioning the experience and, who would you be dating and what type of person do you want to date? What are your goals, values, and standards for a relationship with you? And you're going through this process of trying to figure out what the new version of you, the person you are today, what that's going to look like in the modern dating world, especially if it's been a while since you've dated anybody. So you might find yourself on the apps already looking at, just because you're curious and you're swiping and trying to figure out what that looks like. And is this for me? Do I want to be on the apps? Should I be on the apps? Am I better off meeting people out in the real world? That's really what I'm used to. I prefer to meet people out in the wild, doing the things that I love, because at least then you know that you're going to be somewhat connected by the things that you enjoy. Angie says, I felt God telling me I needed to take time and do further healing and really work on myself in all areas of life, but I didn't know where to start. And that's so common that we don't know where to start. If you've never really done the work on yourself and you're just now finding yourself starting to question what that might look like, you always hear me talk about the pillars: physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So you'll start working on yourself in all of those areas, just dropping something small into each box every day, or bucket, whatever it is. If you prefer a bucket, you can have a bucket, but you're going to drop something very simple into those each and every day. And don't spend any more than 5 minutes on each bucket every day for a period of time until it becomes the habit of being you. So you're doing things that you've never done before. You're making yourself a priority physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And over time, that's going to have a compounding effect as you become the person that you know that you're capable of being, the person that you were always meant to be. Over time, you'll find that you stop stressing about trying to put something in those buckets, and you recognize that it's just the habit of you as a person. This is now who you are. Angie says, your Take a Walk With Me videos started popping up on my Instagram page. So I started taking walks with you, and things really started to make sense. Your content addressed things I needed to hear and think about with the directness and firmness that I needed. And that is one thing that people report back on when they watch the Take a Walk With Me videos, is that I have something different. I have something that is unique. I'm doing something that a lot of people aren't doing. I'm not trying to rage bait you into the comment section, but I am providing you with realistic, real-time advice that you can deploy in your life right now and learn to take your personal power back away from the things that you give it away to so freely each and every day. So you can go into any comment section on any platform, on any video, and you'll see the changes and transformations that are taking place just from watching the 5 to 8 minute Take a Walk With Me videos. Between you and some other content creators, I began doing a lot of self-reflection and making small shifts in my thinking and life in general. And I think that's important, is to have a well-rounded group of people that you follow, that you admire, that you like, that you enjoy, that align with your values and your standards. A lot of times we find ourselves following different content creators for different reasons, and you begin to find what your values actually are, that you start to disagree with some of the things that they're saying, or it's just not something, direction that you want to take for yourself. And so this is a good thing when you start taking in all this different information from all these different sources. You begin to discover what your own values and standards really are. If you're starting out in the dating world and you don't know what your goals, your values, and your standards are for a relationship with you, this is a great way to be able to make and help you determine what those things are for you. I began doing a lot of self-reflection and making small shifts in my thinking in general. All these pivots, pauses, and walks have added up to clarity and then shifted to major changes. That's that compounding effect that you hear me talk about all the time. I believe God brought your content to my Instagram page to help bring focus and direction at a time I really needed it, but didn't have the funds or really the mental energy to seek formal counseling or life coaching. And that's one of the things that we hear a lot of the times is that, well, I don't have the money. I don't have the funds. What I find interesting about that is people will always find the funds for other things. Look at all the different vices that you have that you're willing to spend the money on. Look at all your streaming services. So this really comes down to learning to make yourself a priority physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and recognizing that investing in yourself in all of those areas is going to ultimately be to your benefit, but it can come with some sort of sacrifice. You might have to let some things go in order to start putting your energy into these other places that will help lift and build you up and help you become the person that you know that you're capable of being. But a lot of times we don't do it. We don't seek out the coaching. We don't put in the effort. We don't get a life coach. We don't get a personal trainer because we don't think that we deserve it. You know deep down that you're not going to stick with the program because you have all this evidence and history of not sticking with programs previously. So you've already taught yourself and trained yourself to believe that, yeah, every time I put money into something that's to benefit me, I just don't stick with it. And so that is one of the main challenges that people have to overcome. But then we often put it as an objection that there's some sort of financial objection, which may be more true nowadays than it was a couple years ago. But generally, people will find the way to make things happen for themselves when they truly want to do it and they believe that they're capable of doing it. Counseling had helped in the past to process my divorce, but honestly, I couldn't tell my story. Yet again, just needed a place to start from where I was. Who knew God could use social media in such a powerful way? So in my long-winded way, I'm saying thank you and want to encourage you to keep going and creating your content. It's so awesome that you have created the Take a Walk with Me community, also the Blueprint community. And I will be praying that it will help people as much as your walks have helped me. And I always love this. And just for an idea for your group, throwing it out there, a Take a Walk with Me walkathon, walking to raise money for a cause close to your heart, virtual or in person. Just throwing it out there, but you have probably already thought of that. Thank you so much for helping me become a version of myself that I am proud of. Angie. And how cool is that? That's the testimony of someone who has been through it. They didn't see themselves as being the person that could make the changes in their life, but through finding various content creators, putting the work into themselves, recognizing where they are, having an honest conversation with themselves and being truthful about who they are as a person, they were able to begin to make the changes in their life that allow them to feel proud of who they're becoming. And that is the benefit of doing the work. That's what we often call healing, is putting yourself in a position where you can be around people that help lift you up. So if you guys have any questions or you want to share your story, feel free to go to my Stand Store. The link is in my bio, and you can share your story with us, and we'll read it out loud. And you'll be able to find that on YouTube under the Take a Walk with Me Q&A. While you're in my Stand Store, if you would like to sign up for one-on-one coaching or for one of my programs, we have the 21-day Love and Abundance Challenge as well as the Self-Discovery Blueprint. And right now, if you use code Blueprint25, you will get a discount. We'll see you next time.